want to get to some new information about a 15-year-old that was shot on Tuesday night.
And this all happened in South Fulton. Police say the teenager was shot while being robbed. This all happened on Delano Road, right off of Roosevelt Highway. 11 Alive Chase Howell was the only one to speak with the boy's family outside of Grady Hospital as the teenager prepares for surgery.
It was a trip to the emergency room the family of Jalen Jackson thought they'd never take.
My grandson is in the hospital right now. Fight for his life. He got to go to surgery again, so I just hope he'll be all right.
Jalen's family says he met a guy outside his apartment on Delano Road to sell his PS5 when the guy shot him 3 times and robbed him.
Welcome to the video, everyone. This is Justin Paul. This story right here is crazy. Just caught wind of this story. They said it happened Saturday night. So a teen was looking to sell his PlayStation 5. Met the prospective buyer, outside of his apartment, thinking, of course, that was going to be safe. And this is in South Fulton, so Fulton County, Georgia. Thought he was going to be safe, being able to sell it around his area and stuff like that. And he was shot 3 times over a PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5s aren't even rare now anymore. And he couldn't have been selling it to you for no more than $300. So you shot a person 3 times over a game system that you can easily get off anybody right now for $300. And even if you go into the stores and purchase it, it's not as much, or it's not as hyped as it was several years ago, 2 years ago. So I just don't get the whole purpose of that, the whole concept of that. Did you not have the money? Are you that down bad that you had to kill somebody? I'm not kill them, Lord forgive me. That you had to shoot somebody over their game system that they was trying to sell you. Possibly could have needed that money for anything. Pay their rent, other bills, have food, gas, whatever. It don't really matter what he needed the money for. He was, coming out trying to do an honest exchange, and he was shot over his PlayStation 5. It's crazy. And my thing is, just for everybody who's like selling stuff, because I've also sold stuff before, sold systems before and stuff like that. And thankfully, those were situations to where, nothing like this happened. But you always have to really vet the person who you're trying to sell it to, and, just kind of make sure, you're not really selling it like if you're selling it on Facebook, see if you can see the person's profile and stuff like that. And if it's one of the platforms like that has a rating system, like what OfferUp, or one of those platforms, just make sure that you can kind of vet who you're going to be selling to, especially if you're not willing to go down to like a police department and sell it in there, because that's typically one of the best places to actually meet someone that you don't know trying to sell an item is, at the police department. You may want to, go in and say, hey, I'm here to, sell this item to this individual. I just want to come here just to make sure that it's going to be a safe transaction, something of that nature. Because, that's better than being shot and, the person just driving off with your stuff. You lose the system, you don't get the money, and you also now have hospital bills because, you're shot and you're fighting for your life, and, you just got to take a lot of stuff into account when you're doing something like, selling person to person. And it's sad to say, but it's real dangerous out here now. You can't really put stuff past anybody. And it's really best to be safe than sorry, Trust me, I've heard all these sayings over the course of my life, and man, now that I'm an adult and I'm dealing and out in the real world, a lot of these sayings that the old heads used to say, they are tried and true. They're really tried and true. So I'm gonna just let it play.
Sister said he was outside and she was going to tell him, hey, it's getting late, come on in, because it's about 6:30, it's dark outside. Next thing she know, he walks to the house saying he was shot. She thought it was planned, but come to look at it, she looked and she's like, oh my God, he shot for real.
His aunt, Sharika Clark, says the 15-year-old was shot in his arm, his back, and his side.
For you to try to kill a kid over a game is ridiculous. I just
It's absolutely ridiculous. The kid definitely should have. We should have known better than to go out, when it's dark and trying to make a transaction. Anything like that should definitely be handled, as early as possible. You know, definitely not as it's getting dark. Definitely not as it's getting dark. But the kid's 15 years old. Come on, man. Who's that damn heartless to shoot a kid? Could have definitely killed the kid. We don't know if the kid's gonna make it or not, but we hoping he do pull through. But it's just like you shooting a kid over a PlayStation. It's this the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Go get a goddamn job. So you can afford the PlayStation. You don't gotta shoot nobody over no damn game system. Like it's just ridiculous, man. Got grandma eyes full of tears and crying, and the whole family's definitely worried about him and stuff, and all over a PlayStation 5. Like, come on, man. It's just really not that. It's just not that serious.
wish they would put the guns down because it's almost like guns are really killing people because they are not being used properly.
I did ask Clark if they know who the shooter is and how Jalen orchestrated the sale, and the family says they don't know at the moment. But all his grandma does know is that the gun violence is getting out of hand.
I just pray that these kids get an education, go to school, and stay out of gun violence. Because gun violence it's just too much.
Jalen is expected to undergo another surgery on Thursday. Reporting, Chase Howell, 11 Alive News.
So, the gun violence being out of control, honestly. And as long as I'm gonna say this, man, as long as we keep feeding into these guys or girls, whoever, as long as we keep feeding into the people who are promoting this type of stuff and who are championing this type of stuff, as long as we keep giving them that flame, I don't see anything changing. Sadly but surely, I don't see anything changing. You got people that are making multi-million dollars off of putting this type of stuff into the kids' minds. I don't know if the other guy was a kid or an adult, or I'm not necessarily sure because they don't even know who did it. But the guy should have had somebody out there to watch the transaction. He should have been telling people that he was going to do this, telling his family that he was going to do this and who he's expecting to come and get it. And, but, shoulda, woulda, coulda, man. A lot of people coulda, shoulda did a lot of things before incidents happen. And, it's kind of easy for me, again, to sit here and say certain stuff and, not necessarily have been in that situation, but you definitely gotta be a lot smarter when it comes to stuff like that, and take your safety overall, safety over money, safety over everything, really, because nobody wants to be laid up in a hospital bed with holes in them, or definitely don't want to be in no coffin because you was trying to sell your PlayStation 5 to somebody, and they wasn't man enough to keep their end of the bargain, which was just, you give them the PlayStation 5, they give you the money, then everybody goes on about their business. It's, that's how men handle transactions, but it's another cowardly act. But I'm going to close this video out. If you like my content, just make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Justin Paul. Peace.